This is DaxTheAnimal from Twitch with a continuation of this Resident Evil 4 professional no damage run. This is chapter 4-1, and it's a monster. Over 30 minutes. And it throws a lot of difficult stuff at you. Luckily, there are strats. And I'll do my best to break those down for you. Right off the bat, you can see why it was worthwhile grabbing those herbs as Ashley, because Leon gets them. Handed them to Leon at the beginning, and now we can sell that green-yellow-red mix for 10,000. And this is the part of the game where the extra-large case becomes available. That's the largest case in the game. And there it is. So we're doing a little backtracking here. Remember, I left a free rocket launcher and some ammo behind in this room. And there was also something that we didn't really get to see earlier, because you can't get it until you have Ashley with you. There's a broken butterfly, which is a magnum. We'll be getting that in a little bit. But yeah, I left all this stuff before because, one, we were about to get a larger case, and two, there were enemies over here before, and now this area is safe. So there's nothing to worry about. And grab it in a much more leisurely manner without worrying about space issues. You gotta wait for Ashley to get close to this door. This part you can run through, mostly. This guy with the scythe always gets really close, but I've never had a problem with him hitting Ashley or Ashley getting scared or anything. I don't worry about killing him, but just know that when we come back through, he's still gonna be there. You have to be ready for that. Some hidden pesetas right there. Easy to miss because they're just in a cabinet, a very nondescript cabinet. Nooks and crannies for days in this game. Avoiding that right pot, once again, because there's a snake in it. We don't want anything to do with those. There's one snake at the end of 4-4. That's the only one I'm going to be dealing with, because it's important. There's a little tease for you. We're heading back to the broken butterfly now. This is all backtracking so far. But even without this backtracking, this is still a monster of a chapter. The backtracking is ultimately just going to be a few minutes. So we let Ashley climb to the window. There's some treasures in here. And then in the large chest, right here, the broken butterfly. And that is the one and only magnum I'm going to use throughout the game. It's a beast of a weapon. If you unlock its exclusive, which is get all the upgrades, and then the exclusive becomes available, you get that as well. For this particular gun, it ups the firepower all the way to 50, which is that's an immense amount of firepower. 50 times the damage of the basic handgun with no upgrades. Here's that guy I was talking about. He'd still be there. Just stun him and run by. They're just following the same path as before, but in the opposite direction. It's really not that bad. Like, all of this combined was less than 5 minutes. This little bit of backtracking here. The real tedium in this chapter is coming up. This probably could have been 2 chapters. Or just been cut down in general. That's how I feel about RE4 as a whole. There's a lot that could have been... I feel like there's a lot that could have been cut. Like, look at this nonsense. What is this? Who made this? OSHA would have a field day. And then there's this room with the dragon statues. What you can do, you can just shoot those chains from a distance like I'm doing. You can alternatively just use the sniper rifle and shoot the dudes that are on there. Because for some reason, if you kill the guys that are standing on those, on the dragon statues, they fall into the lava. As if the dragon statue itself is being held up by the life force of the dude standing on it. I don't really get it. I don't get this part of the game. This rotating fence. I don't know why the castle was built over lava. This whole chapter, man, it's a doozy. We gotta run all the way to the end of this room, then we'll have to run all the way back out. We'll have to wait for the rotating fence again. It's a whole thing. At least there's some good treasures. Illuminato's pendant right there. So over here, you lure this guy into breathing fire to the left, and then you can run up, shoot him here, and as you can see, it just collapses. You kill the guy standing on it, the whole statue collapses. Why? I don't know, but whatever works. And there's our prize, the lion ornaments. Remember from a while back, we needed to gather 3 ornaments to get through a door. This is the chapter where we'll finally get that done. Wait for this to rotate, making sure those guys aren't sneaking up on me. You can just kill them if you want, but it's such a long chapter, such a long game in general. You're gonna want to pick and choose who you fight, who you run from, who you stun. Because after a while, the combat just becomes not fun anymore. There's over 1,000 enemies in this game, if you choose to kill all of them. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. I think I found a pretty good balance of killing the enemies that are actually threats, leaving the other ones alone, or killing the enemies that drop actual goodies and leaving the useless ones alone, stuff like that. A little bit of looting. Looting is usually valuable. Just that right there. We got 5 shotgun shells and a spinel. Just because we broke a couple pots. That's worth it. I think it's generally worth looting about everything in the game, because there's no danger to it, and the rewards are usually high. Little side area over here that's kind of easy to miss, and it's also full of goodies. That's always a hand grenade, and then here's another Sadler painting with 5,000 pesetas. And if you continue running to the left, you'll see something shining on the wall out here. It's a treasure, but I already shot it down earlier. It's a very pretty view. I think that's the prettiest vista in the whole game. Hints at a much larger, really, series of castles, much larger castle structure than what we actually see, or what we actually get to run through. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, this is the part of the game where we have to get a Queen Grail and a King Grail. If I'd ran forward, we would have come across the door that requires both of those, but I just skipped that. Ran to the right. This is the harder of the two. Definitely. This can be a run killer. We got a nightmare room coming up. It's a small room, and there are suits of armor with plagas in them. And you have to knock the helmets off the armor to expose the plagas, and then dispose of those however you want to. Flash grenades are your best bet. You're about to see the first and I think one of the best uses of the broken butterfly in the whole game. Couple QTEs here, not a problem. Just, mash LT and RT and A and B, and you'll be good. Okay, so I immediately aim at the one on the left, then the one on the right, run around in circles. What you could do is just exactly what I'm about to do here, which is throw a flashbang. That kills 2 of them. This guy's still at it. I missed. You don't want to do that. But I did. If you really wanted to, you could try to shoot the helmets off of all 3 and then take all of them out with a flashbang, but that is risky. This part here, get under the archway, get the sniper rifle ready, and shoot these helmets off in the order that I do here. Wait for this guy to start walking. He's invulnerable until he starts walking. Take out the one on the left, and then the one on the right, and the one in the middle. Switch to a flash, get all 3 of them. Boom. It looks easy, it's not. Trust me. You're gonna hate this room. It's gonna cause problems. It's hard enough just doing this chapter alone, you know, it's 10 minutes into it. You mess it up, you gotta reset the whole chapter. It's even worse if you're playing the whole game, going for no save, no damage, and you get here and have to reset.
Follow me.
I definitely recommend doing this segmented first. I started out trying to do this no save, no damage. Got a lot of practice in that way.
Wait.
Ultimately decided that it was not worth it and just decided to break it down, do it segmented, to learn it better. And once I learned it quite well, I figured, hey, let's make these videos. Share what I learned. Put it out in a nice, you know, bite-sized format. This is cool, but not really helpful. You can stop before going in that room and shoot all of these. And then you don't have to worry about the ceiling closing. The reason I say it's not that helpful is because you have a ton of time to shoot those anyway. Like, there's really no threat. There's no enemies in the room or anything. So you can easily just shoot all 4 of those plates on the ceiling. There are 2 enemies driving this thing, and they die in 1 pistol bullet each. It can be hard to see, though, with Leon's shaky aim, the bars in your way. All you gotta do is shoot them once each, and then those doors automatically open. Ashley comes out. That elegant chessboard, just sitting in a nondescript cabinet. You don't want to miss that. It's very valuable. Just doing our looting thing, like we do. And there's the Queen's Grail. We got both the Grails now. And this chapter is only like a third of the way done. It's a monster. Ah, yes, this. This has to be shown. It's a very special painting.
Wait.
It's the best part of this chapter, really. Go look at it, give it a little smooch for luck every time you play this game. Let that guy get a little close. That was dangerous. This is one of those encounters that, you know, just have a little bit of patience. Take him out from far away. And you'll be alright. And if one of those scythe enemies does throw a scythe at you, just switch to the shotgun and shoot. You don't have to be precise at all. It's the spread on the shotguns in this game. They'll help you out. Looting, here's where we put the grails. And we're about to see our old friends, the novistadors, again. Soon. This part can be awful. But I'll show you how to break it down pretty easily. That other pot there, there's a snake in it. The one that I didn't break. No point in breaking it. We're going to be running back to this room shortly. Ashley's about to get abducted again. The novistadors fly out, they abduct her, immediately turn around and run. As quick as you can. Just get back here, run and jump over onto this balcony. As long as they're flying, you kill them in one pistol shot. But it can be surprisingly hard to hit them. I would tell you to have patience here, but it's possible that they can climb up on the ceiling. And once they're on the ceiling, they can climb through these windows. So don't let that happen. Don't worry about wasting a few pistol shots. Collect their goodies. It's RNG whether you get a green eye, a red eye, or a blue eye. The blue eyes are what you really want. They're worth the most. You want at least 2 of them so that you can fully mix both butterfly lamps with green, red, and blue eyes. Maximize your profits. Speaking of butterfly lamps, there's one right there. Shoot this down however you want. It has quite a bit of HP. Don't use anything too good on it. Don't use a rocket launcher or anything. That's a waste. Just used a few rifle rounds. Hop down, there's a bunch of eyes you can collect. We're about halfway done with the chapter. Leon getting his loot on. All of these sections, they can be very difficult, but they can be very difficult if you're unprepared. But these videos should prepare you. Another eye that I missed before. Our old friend, the merchant. It's doing a little inventory management. Boring as it is, you have to do it sometimes. It gets pretty satisfying anyway. One of the better parts of the game. It's one of the better parts of the game once your inventory starts to come together. Once you get this extra large case.
Welcome. Got some rare.
It can be pretty satisfying.
Thank you.
Look at all those goodies. All these treasures. Over 400,000 pesetas on us. Here we go, there's one fully mixed lamp, and we just need one more blue eye. And that'll be both butterfly lamps in the game maxed out.
What are you selling?
Yeah, they're worth 32,000 each, so pretty worth it.
Thank you.
It's not a whole lot to talk about here, just a lot of inventory management.
Thank you. Thank you.
Serious payday for the merchant here. And now we can get back to the action. This is important right here. You want to switch to the rifle. Well, there's a hidden spinel there if you want to grab that. Switch to the rifle and take out these dudes from afar. There's one coming up on the right. Just have some patience. Wait for him to come up. Snipe him. Snipe his buddy. And now we can progress. If you go up here while those guys are alive and trigger that cutscene, enemies start launching flaming boulders at you with catapults. All you gotta do is snipe those guys before that cutscene, and you don't have to worry about that. One of the most dangerous sections of the chapter is coming up. It might not seem like it, but it really is, because there are crossbow guys in here. But before we get to that, you want to snipe. You can actually see all 3 pieces of this wood, like right from the start here. You walk in the door and walk forward a little bit, and you can shoot all 3 pieces of wood. And then all we have to do is climb all the way up to the top, hit the lever. Enemies will attack. Very carefully take them out. And then make your way all the way down to the bottom. I used to have trouble finding all 3 of those pieces of wood. I never realized that you could just shoot all of them as soon as you enter this room. But you'll see how risky it is when these crossbow guys show up. It's not fun to deal with them. And they can have varying behavior as well. There's one that could come up the ladder to you pretty quickly, or he may choose not to. But what you want to do right off the bat, we'll be able to take out 2 of them fairly easily. Get into position here. They're already shooting at me. There's one shooting at me, but he can't actually hit me, or he shouldn't be able to, because he's underneath me right now. Wait for it. There you go. That's how you take out 2 of them. They both go to the same place. But look at how these guys cheat. He knows exactly where I am. He doesn't have a line of sight to me. He just knows. He sees me up through the ceiling. And I'm just trying to bait him into coming up the ladder, which he will sometimes do. You don't want to be this far into this chapter or this far into this game and get robbed by this guy. Nobody wants that. And if he decides to be tedious, this is pretty much what you have to do. Just wait him out. There he is. He took his time, but he finally came up. If he wants to, he'll do that much faster. It's just one of those things you have to keep in mind. The danger's not over yet. Most of the crossbow guys are gone. We'll have to deal with, I believe, 1 more. But that's the worst part of this area. It's what we just dealt with right there. So when you drop down and this cutscene happens, don't move forward, just wait. Wait, there's an enemy that's going to drop down from the ladder you just dropped down from. Wait, there he is. He just dropped. When that happens, climb back up. Bait this guy into throwing dynamite down there, and he should kill his buddies. This is like much earlier in chapter 1-2, where we kept the guy alive on the roof to kill his friends. Same thing. Unfortunately, he took his sweet time throwing that one, so these guys got up here. They would have died. The timing got all out of whack here. Messed everything up. But it's not a big deal. You can still just wait at the top of the ladder. Kill anybody that comes up if you need to. If he doesn't get them. Just making sure they're actually cleared out down there. And then taking him out. Wait for him to throw it. Switch your aim up a tiny bit and shoot. Works every time. There's one more guy with a crossbow. Just checking to see if I can snipe him from here. But there's no line of sight. So we're gonna have to creep up on him a bit. Don't want to get robbed here. The crossbow guys are your worst enemies. There he is. Showing off those pearly whites. It's a good way to handle it. Take him out there when he can't. You can see him, but he can't see you. Don't walk to the top of that staircase. He might shoot you before you have a chance. Another intense section coming up through those doors. You could actually get a double headshot right here, but I hesitated too much. That's all right. We got plenty of ammo, plenty of time. You don't have to sweat things like that. A flashbang or a hand grenade would work here. I opted for the flashbang because it blows up a little faster, makes it a little safer. Just run past those guys. Don't move forward here. If you move forward, bars appear against the door behind you. You want to snipe those two regular enemies. Go back. See that? See the bars? I wanted to deal with just the garradors. The guy with less armor, this one right here, he has less health. There's bells along the side for you to get their attention with. I think it would be cool if they could hurt each other, but unfortunately that's not part of the game. Here you go, broken butterfly. Is an amazing use of it. When these guys run at you, you just shoot them in the front, they spin around, and it exposes their weak point. Easy peasy. And so far, we haven't had to actually use up any excess magnum ammo because we've just relied on capacity upgrades. Now, there's 4 enemies in there. I just ran forward and decided to camp this door. You could just leave them alone. You could just leave this area if you wanted to. And also, remember the door strats from earlier in the village? You can actually do that with this door. I believe it might be the only door in the castle you can do it with. But I opted to just sit back. Take them out, loot their corpses. See the hole in the door right there? You could door strat these fools for sure. If you don't know what I mean by door strat, go back and watch the 1-1 walkthrough. That'll explain it. Go back and loot what I missed. That's always an incendiary grenade. If you wanted to save some time, you could just run through here, grab those 10 shoddy shells on the right, and then leave. And not deal with those enemies at all. You just have to decide, do you want that incendiary grenade that bad? I feel that it's worth it. But you just, you can make little decisions like that on your own. You don't have to pick up literally everything. The crown, if we mixed a couple of other treasures with that, it becomes the most valuable treasure in the game. Speaking of valuable treasures, this is where we get the striker. This is where we're going to get rid of our regular shotgun, finally. We've been using this thing since the beginning of the village.
Welcome.
We're gonna switch to the striker,
Got some
which is an
rare.
absolute
What are
beast
you
of a weapon.
selling?
When we unlock its exclusive, it's going to hold 100 rounds. This basically means you never have to reload.
Thank you. What are you buying?
And there's a very important glitch. The run's about to get glitchier.
Thank you.
We're going to be able to do a glitch called ditman.
Thank you.
And
What are
it makes you run really fast. And that's valuable in and of itself, just being able to run really fast in this game. But it also opens up opportunities for all sorts of skips, all sorts of wild stuff. And as a farther bonus, it doesn't take up much space in the inventory. It barely takes up more room than a pistol. The striker is, I'd say it's extremely overpowered. It doesn't have the range of the other shotguns, but it still has a massive amount of range. Tons of spread. Huge capacity. Especially when we get the exclusive. Barely takes up any space in the inventory. And then you can do ditman with it. The gun's crazy. You might even say it's broken. I know people talk about...
What are you buying?
People throw the term broken around a lot when talking about video games.
Thank you.
The striker is actually broken. If it wasn't for that gun, just that one gun and what you can do with it, this game would be immensely more difficult. Now, final stretch, the final threat here of this chapter. And there's the first use of ditman. Look, Leon just takes off. And it's easy to do. All you do is equip the striker, aim, and go into your inventory at the same time. Like before your laser sight comes up, basically just aim, hit the aim button and the inventory button at the same time. Once you're in there, switch to a different weapon, and you're good. Exit the inventory and run. See that? Boom. It's very easy to pull off, trust me. Now, most QTEs, door opening animations, and cutscenes will knock you out of it, so you have to do it again. Just like that right there. That QTE knocked us out of it, but it only takes a second to do it again. I've been holding on to the RPG since the beginning of this chapter for this boss right here. He has an absolutely massive amount of health. If you wanted to take him out without the RPG, you could. But, you know, say goodbye to your ammo. Just run around him. You could use ditman there to make it safer. I didn't. You should, probably. Makes it much safer. Knock over to liquid nitrogen. It freezes him temporarily. And shoot him with a rocket. And you're done. No more threats in this entire chapter. We're finally at the end of this monster. And there's the crown jewel. That combines with the crown. Now we're just making our way to an elevator. We'll finally be able to breathe easy for a little while. There is nothing in here. Well, if you were fighting him without the rocket launcher, you would want to go to these side areas because you would want to make use of the liquid nitrogen containers. So just keep that in mind. You won't be able to take him out in one cycle. There's the other one. You want to make use of all the liquid nitrogen containers. And you'll be able to slowly chip away at his health. Using your magnum, your rifle, everything you've got, basically. I recommend just using the rocket launcher, of course. That's the end of chapter 4-1. The next one's a little more manageable, I promise. Good luck, and peace out. See you for the next one.